Have you ever found yourself lost in the pages of a memory, wondering where it all went wrong? Did it ever happen to you that the life you meticulously crafted crumbled in an instant, leaving you in a world that felt like a stranger's home? What would you do if the echoes of a fractured past kept you awake at night, haunting every corner of your mind? Does I sit here in this dimly lit room with the shadows of my life scattered around me like debris? It's a small apartment, suffocated by memories masquerading as photographs, letters, and old belongings. Each one is a ghost of a life I once lived, full of laughter and promise. My fingers brush over an old dust-covered journal, the pages a fragile tapestry of a time I barely recognize. No, I was vibrant once, or so I tell myself, but now I'm more ghost than man, moving through my days as if trapped in a slow-motion nightmare. The past has a cruel way of clinging to your bones, whispering reminders of broken dreams and fractured trust. In this silence, where the walls seem to close in with each breath, I feel the weight of invisible burdens pressing down, relentless and merciless. No, I look out the window as the world outside continues, blissfully unaware of the storm inside me. The lines etched into my face are deep with worry and sadness, a canvas of a life that's lost its color. What do you do when the past refuses to release its grip, and every step toward peace feels like a solitary climb up a mountain of despair? As I trace the edges of my journal, I wonder if this is how it all ends, or if there's still a path forward, hidden under the rubble. The memory of that day cuts through me like shards of glass, splintering reality into jagged pieces that never quite fit back together. I remember standing in the office, the air thick with betrayal, as Sam's empty desk stared back at me. The echoes of our shared laughter, plans, and dreams now felt like cruel mockery. I had poured my heart into our venture, believing in our vision, in our friendship. Yet, with no warning, Sam had vanished, taking with him not just investments, but pieces of my trust and faith, leaving me adrift in financial and emotional ruin. No. The shock numbed me at first, a defense mechanism against the emotional avalanche rushing toward me. It wasn't until much later, when our so-called friends began whispering and choosing sides, that the full weight of isolation hit me. I became a pariah in my own life's narrative, watching familiar faces turn away, each rejecting glance a new fracture in my already damaged psyche. Null old wounds, long buried under layers of pretense, began to bleed anew. Memories of my sister's loss, the hollow absence from my childhood where parental love should have been, erupted with fresh fury. Trust was always a fragile construct for me, like a glass bridge spanning a chasm of doubt. Sam's betrayal shattered that glass, sending me spiraling into an abyss I had feared my entire life. No, I tried to reach out, to cling to the buoyancy of therapy, but words felt like inadequate lifelines thrown into a stormy sea. Group sessions left me feeling exposed, like a cracked vessel leaking secrets, while others bobbed securely in their own buoyancy. I could barely look anyone in the eye anymore, terrified they could see the ghost I was becoming. Slowly, the world outside ceased to exist as I retreated into the confines of my mind, a solitary prisoner shackled by memories, till the nights became interminable, dark canvases where painful scenes played out on repeat, while days drifted into a haze where nothing felt real. My mind was an asylum of unrest, tormented by a relentless internal monologue of self-betrayal and regret. Each breath I took felt like I was inhaling the ashes of a life burned to the ground. Yet here I was, desperate to rise again from the remains, unsure if I even had the strength to try. The room feels like an echo chamber of my own pain, a static world where time has no meaning. I sit here in the dim corner of my cluttered apartment, a place suffocated by the detritus of a life I no longer recognize. The dust clings to the air, settling over memories like a shroud. Pages of an old journal lie beneath my fingertips, their faded ink a relic of hope I once had, but fear I've lost forever. Now my mind drifts into the past, navigating the treacherous corridors of my own history. The memories of Sam's betrayal surface unbidden, each one slicing through the haze like a jagged knife, leaving trails of anguish behind. It's a mosaic of old wounds and new, a childhood marred by shadows of neglect and a devastating rupture of losing my sister before understanding how to hold on. Null trust has always been a fragile thing, a bird with broken wings. My heart, once full of reckless faith, now pulses with the ache of raw, unreconciled guilt. Each heartbeat is a drum of blame reverberating through the hollow spaces of my soul. Why didn't I see it? How could I have been so blind, so naive? I feel the growing weight of my own self-betrayal pressing down, rendering me immobile. Null isolation is a slow poison, yet I welcome it, retreating further into the labyrinth of my mind where pain is both familiar and consuming. I flit through the hours in a dissociative fog, nights merging into days with the blunt monotony of regret. Insomnia is my constant companion, whispering lies in the stillness, replaying every misstep until the walls close in. Null, I sought solace in therapy, but words proved inadequate, slipping through my fingers like water. The silence that follows is deafening, a testament to my own helplessness. Each failed attempt to connect is a reminder of my inadequacy, driving me deeper into the cocoon of my despair. Null, I catch sight of myself in the mirror sometimes, a ghostly visage staring back, eyes dull and unrecognizable. There's a rift inside me, an aching chasm where my hope once dwelt. How do I bridge this gap? Somewhere within, a voice whispers the unthinkable, yet another fragment begs for something more, a reason, a hope, a dawn to break this endless night. Null, the letter from an old friend remains unopened on my table, a flicker of warmth in the cold sea of my desolation. Could it be, within its folds, there's a thread to pull me back from the edge? I'm reaching, a hesitant hand in the dark, yearning for a touch that won't recoil, for a salvation I can't seem to grasp. Null, the shadows of my mind have become an abyss, a dark chasm echoing with the whispers of unrelenting doubt. It is here, beneath the oppressive weight of despair, that I find myself at the precipice of surrender. Life, once vibrant and full of promise, now feels like a hollow echo of what once was. I sit in the gloom, surrounded by relics of my past, a lifeless portrait gallery of memories long faded. Each photograph, each crumpled letter, a testament to what I've lost, tethered to a world that has crumbled like dry paper in a storm-dot null nullet was Sam who unraveled the fabric of my existence, a betrayal carving deep fissures into my soul. The betrayal replayed in an endless loop, each iteration a sharpened blade against my defenses. Trust, that fragile construct, became a noose tightening around my neck, suffocating the remnants of my faith in human connection. Nights dissolve into an endless stream of consciousness, each thought a restless specter of what might have been. I find solace in nothing, my isolation, a cocoon of self-inflicted solitude, null. But amidst the suffocating darkness, a letter arrives. An unassuming envelope containing the echoes of a friendship long past. It is a beacon, a fragile thread of hope that trembles in my hand. The friend who writes reminds me of laughter shared under sunlit skies when life felt infinite. Their words strike a chord within, a faint melody of life's sweeter harmonies. In the mirror, I confront my own reflection, a stranger wearing my face, eyes weighted with sorrow. I long to reclaim the person I once was, the version of myself unscarred by betrayal. Null. I must find meaning in this pain, grasp at the wisps of hope that flit like fireflies in the dark. I make the smallest of steps, each movement forward a reclaiming of agency. The decision crystallizes within me. I must face Sam, not out of a need for closure, but to reclaim my narrative, to speak my truths aloud and let the echoes dissipate into the ether. It is not forgiveness I seek, but release, a letting go of the chains that bind me to the shadows of my past. I must confront the specter head on, reclaim my story, and rise from the ashes of what once was. Null. The room is quiet now, a silence punctuated only by the faint ticking of a forgotten clock. Alex sits with the journal, its pages tainted by time, as if holding it could somehow tether him to a past where trust had yet to shatter. Sam's betrayal lingers, not as a sharp wound, but as a dull ache that refuses to fade. The confrontation left them both tear-streaked, a mosaic of apologies and shared culpability, yet it offered no smooth resolution on the jagged edge of understanding. Null Alex realizes that forgiveness is not a balm, but a step, a faltering one toward something like healing. Vulnerability stands, skin raw, as a bridge between them, an acknowledgement of wounds carved deep, and somehow this shared humanity becomes their tentative salvation. His past, once a haunting specter, now feels less like a cage and more like a backdrop against which new stories can unfold. Null writing becomes a sacred ritual again, the pen a conduit for resilience rather than despair. Each word a testament to survival, scars that whisper not of weakness, but of strength. He stands by the window, watching the dawn slowly break over the horizon, and in that pale light, Alex senses the fragile stirrings of hope. Life's burdens remain, heavy yet shared, and perhaps that's enough. A journey not towards absolution, but an endless dance with shadows that allows for glimpses of light. In the quiet solitude of his small apartment, Alex sat with the journal lying open on his lap, pages whispering softly as he turned them with a feather-light touch. He let his fingers trace the faded ink, each curve of the letters a relic of a life once bursting with dreams, now left frayed by time and betrayal. The room around him murmured of memories, photographs tilted at odd angles, letters yellowed with age, items collected through years of love and loss. It was an archive of emotion, of moments that had once defined him, but now lay heavy as reminders of what he'd let go. Null. As the pale morning light stretched its fingers across the room, Alex felt a gentle shift within, a loosening of the tight bands of grief that had held him captive. He had come to understand that the pain would never fully vanish. It would be etched into his bones, carried like a soft murmur beneath his skin. But now there was a quietness to it, a soft blanket that wrapped around his spirit, not to suffocate, but to comfort. In accepting that his scars were part of him, shaped by betrayal and solitude, he found a fragile sense of peace, blooming within the shadows. Null. Reflecting on years of suffering and silent battles, Alex realized his past need not define him entirely. These memories, vivid and biting, were no longer weights dragging him down, but silent partners in his journey toward understanding and acceptance. Standing amidst the ghostly remains of his life, Alex knew he was not just a vessel for sorrow. He was also a testament to survival, to the infinite capacity for healing that he had once thought beyond reach. Null. Opening the window, Alex breathed deeply, letting the cool breeze wash over him, carrying away remnants of a past that clung persistently. As he watched the world outside, he perceived a gentle promise of new beginnings, whispered through dawn's gentle arrival. With a heart tender but hopeful, he reached for his journal, picking up his pen. His words, flowing steadily onto the page, were no longer a recount of despair, but a declaration of resilience, embracing each fragment of his story with grace and acceptance. Null. Have you ever been through something you've never told anyone about? Something that still lives in your chest? Null. If you feel like sharing it, we're here. Drop your story in the comments, even just a part of it. Every week, we turn one of your stories into a cinematic video, just like this one. Null. This is a safe space. Your voice matters. You're not alone.